Welcome to the very first edition of Weather and Climate News. No nonsense, no hysteria. There's a lot going on out there, and there's a couple big stories today. I figured now was as good a time as any to start this project. So, there has been yet another study of the Atlantic Meridional overturning circulation that came out just today. And here's an article from USA Today about it. I really don't care what USA Today has to say. I mean, by the time you're seeing this video, there'll probably be 1,000 outlets reporting on this study. But I did have to include their article on the topic because, they give you the obligatory day after tomorrow picture, which always seems to be part of this story here for some reason. They always like to include that. But since we are no nonsense and no hysteria, we'll go to the actual paper itself. And this is out of Nature Communications. And it was published today, July 25th, 2023. And the authors say a forthcoming collapse of the Atlantic Meridional overturning circulation is a major concern as it is one of the most important tipping elements in Earth's climate system. In recent years, model studies and paleoclimatic reconstructions indicate that the strongest abrupt climate fluctuations, the Dansgaard-Oeschger events, are connected to the bimodal nature of the AMOC. Now, the Dansgaard-Oeschger events cause extreme and very rapid climate change. Climate change in a period of decades that just absolutely dwarfs what we've seen in the 200 years of the modern warming. It's definitely something to take seriously. The authors of this paper are predicting that the AMOC will collapse within the middle of the 21st century. They give it a time frame of 2025 to 2095. But since we are no nonsense and no hysteria, unlike the Daily Beast, I'm not going to tell you that the current's going to collapse in 2 years. But eventually, if warming continues, if enough ice is melted in the Arctic, then the current will desalinate and will either slow or possibly collapse. And you can't have both runaway warming and collapse heat transport to the North Atlantic at the same time. You got to pick one or the other. Which is it going to be? So there's some cognitive dissonance out there on that. Got the Jerusalem Post talking about this. Ice core reveals Greenland was green 416,000 years ago. Why does this matter? Because the previous sinking was 2.5 million years ago. Pretty big difference between 416,000 years and 2.5 million years. Take all the dating with a grain of salt, of course. This will change too in the future, probably. The big takeaway from this is that Greenland was once green. There was ice there, there was not ice there, there's ice there. Something cyclical going on over there in Greenland. Here is the actual paper, should you care to read it. It's called Deglaciation of Northwestern Greenland During Marine Isotope Stage 11. It is out of the Journal of Science, and this was published July 20th. Checking out the U.S. Drought Monitor. Things are looking pretty good in the Mountain West. They had a banner winter. They're still skiing in California, and it's almost August. So they are doing great out there. There are some D1 and D2 conditions up in the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies, but for the most part, the West looks great. On the East Coast, no drought to speak of, really. The main area of concern is in the Midwest, Central Plains, particularly eastern Nebraska, Kansas, central Missouri, and a smaller area of drought in Texas. But we have certainly seen improved conditions over last year. Now, for something pretty weird. I don't have an article to link to. I did try to do a I did try to search and see if anybody had reported on this and what had happened. Couldn't find anything. But yesterday, July 24th, 2023, into this morning, July 25th, 2023, CNN released a whole bunch of old weather videos. These are real videos, real stories about real events that they covered in the past, but they were released on MSN News with no context as if they were happening now. And I don't know who's at fault. I don't know if CNN did this or if MSN News did this, but they were all CNN stories. And you see there that says 8 hours ago. That was from yesterday. Dorian stalls over the Bahamas, still a Category 4 storm. Hurricane Dorian was in 2019, so that didn't happen yesterday. At the same time, millions brace for an ice storm nationwide. Ice storm down in Arkansas. It's a thermal equinox. I don't think there's any ice storms going on in the south. So here's a screen grab with a time and date stamp. 10:36 p.m. July 24th, 2023. And MSN News is reporting via CNN that Hurricane Dorian is going on and that millions are bracing for an ice storm. Those things are not happening right now, just to be clear. California residents left stranded after unprecedented snowstorm. Yeah, that was a little earlier. Uh, and it's also 130 degrees. So you don't have to be a meteorologist to know that there's probably not unprecedented snowstorms happening, and it's also 130 degrees. Something's going on, but these stories just kept coming one after one. Severe storm risk on the East Coast. That didn't happen. I mean, it happened, but didn't happen yesterday when it was reported, or this morning when it was reported. Um, Hurricane Hannah that made landfall in 2020. Now, it does show here July 25, 2020 on the actual video itself, but it was released as a news story on MSN News as if it were happening now. And millions under tornado watches. No, that is not going on at the moment. Also, coastal areas of Peru and Chile are greening, and that is not positive, according to Earth. Anyways, snow and rain in the west. Nah, not a lot of snow going on right now. It's July 25. Millions of people across 6 states under tornado watch 8 hours ago. And so that's what I'm saying. These videos were all released as if they were happening now. And of course, they're not happening now. They're all old videos. I don't know if this is intentional disinformation. I don't know if some new intern was archiving the stuff in the wrong spot. I don't know if it's CNN. I don't know if it's MSN that's at fault. I don't know if it's AI gone wrong. But something crazy happened there. And as far as I know, nobody's told us what happened yet or why all this misinformation was put out there. Well, that's what I got for you today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you later.